Hi, Democrats. Today is Monday, November 21st, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Monday. So there's a lot to talk about today. Even though the election was several weeks back, politics is still happening. As I've been telling you guys for the last couple of weeks, we are 3 weeks away from filing for municipal offices and school board and city council offices, depending on where you live. Those seats are up. Filing for that is December 5th through 7th. So if you're thinking about running, now's the time to start doing that. If your person is up, now's the time to be trying to find someone that you will vote for. That's the most important thing, is find someone that you will vote for, not just a name on the ballot, but someone you would vote for. So it is November 21st, and we are a little bit behind the curve in wishing President Biden a happy birthday. Belated happy birthday, President Biden. So that's the good news, right? That's the good news. Elections are still happening. The president just had a birthday. And that's all I have for good news. Now I have not so good news. I want to give everybody an update on the governor's adult son who had an encounter, and I'm choosing my words carefully, had a police encounter on Halloween in Edmond. The police were called. They found the governor's adult son intoxicated, and he owned being intoxicated, and he had firearms. He had 5 firearms. One of them belonged to his dad. When they found this 20-year-old in possession of a car, in possession of firearms, under the influence, what they decided to do was call his mom. They didn't arrest him. Thank goodness they didn't shoot him. They didn't arrest him. They didn't detain him. They escorted him from Edmond to Stillwater and made sure he got home safe. Now, let's be very clear. I am glad that he wasn't shot. I am glad that he made it home safe. I am conflicted because not everyone gets the same level of justice. I don't want him shot. Be clear. I don't want him shot. I don't want him harmed. But I think about all of those 20-year-olds who have police encounters and don't survive. All of those 20-year-olds who are caught with firearms and don't survive. They're not escorted to their home in a whole nother town. Their firearms are taken away from them until they can solve things. That is not what happened here. The police were called. He was under the age, intoxicated, in possession of a vehicle and firearms, and has yet to have one charge levied against him. Now, Edmond is in Oklahoma County, and frankly, I guess it's good that he wasn't detained in Oklahoma County. Oklahoma County over the weekend recorded its 15th death of an incarcerated person. 15 in one calendar year. There's a problem there, and we have to deal with it. And no amount of setting up a jail trust, no amount of having a mayoral panel seems to be working. So what we really need to do is get down to brass tacks and take care of it. And I'm not sure that just a new jail is going to fix it, because it will still be the same kind of people running it. They haven't changed any of the rules. I don't think that they've changed any of their core belief system. We need a bigger issue to handle the Oklahoma County Jail. I don't talk on it that much because I live in Tulsa. But when you say to me that 15 inmates in one county jail have died in one calendar year, I have to say that that's a problem. And here's the thing. I want to remind everybody who doesn't know, everybody who's not the daughter of a warden like I am. County jail, the folks in county jail, not all of them have been convicted of anything. Some of them are just there because they can't afford bail. Some of them are there because they've been convicted and their time is short enough that it doesn't make sense to send them to prison. But most of the people who are sitting in a county jail are people who haven't been convicted yet. They're people who have been charged, can't afford to bail out. people who bailed out too many times, so they're not allowed to bail out. But it's not just guilty folks sitting up in the county jail. And we've had 15 in the Oklahoma County Jail already lose their lives for various reasons, but 15 feels like a lot. 15 feels like a lot. Club Q in Colorado Springs, Colorado. There was an attack, a firearm attack. Somebody showed up at the club with an AR-15, imagine that, and a handgun, and just indiscriminately started shooting people. Last I checked, there were 5 people who lost their lives and 25 people who were injured. It was a massacre. Last piece of news I heard, they weren't sure. They were thinking it was probably a hate crime, but they weren't sure. Stop it. It was a hate crime. It was a hate crime. It was a hate crime. And that's where we are. We live in a country where people are okay with the hate master, Donald Trump, running for president again. And here we go again with more of the bigoted violence. Makes me scared for our future. Makes me a little bit scared. So say a prayer, send good vibes to the loved ones of the folks who were slain and the loved ones of the folks who were injured and they're the injured folks. And let's hope that we do whatever we need to do, throw the book at them and make a hate crime less attractive. I mean, it's happening so often. I don't think that people are afraid of what happens to them. And it makes me sad. And, you know, my sadness is exacerbated by the fact that one of the victims was from Oklahoma. Doesn't make his death more important. It just makes it hit home a little bit. That's where we are, folks. That's where we are. I'm going to move on because that's a little bit depressing and move on to something that makes me a little sad, but not depressed. Over the weekend, Friday, maybe it was Friday, Speaker Pelosi announced that she will not be seeking a leadership position again. It's the end of an era. She led us through a lot of good work. She was strong in the times when it needed to be strong, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next. But I'm thankful for the work that she's done and that I had an opportunity to meet her a couple of years ago. Last but not least, I want to send out a shout out to Representative Trish Ranson. It hasn't happened yet, but she has plans to introduce legislation to remove the straight party voting option off of our ballot. Move it because, what was it? Something like 60% of Oklahomans voted straight party balloting. That's not making any distinction about who, what, and where. We have to move our state away from party and more about people, focusing on the people who are running and what they stand for and what's going to help Oklahoma versus on what party. We are under one party rule, and look where it's gotten us. We are not in good shape. We are not fine. We need for folks to understand who the people are on their ballot. Personally, I stand for this because the candidates that Democrats ran a couple of weeks ago were some of the best qualified people. We had the best qualified people, but they had a D in their name in a state that votes for ours. It was 42% that voted straight party. It was 60% of Republicans that voted straight party. Thanks for that clarification, Blake. But it was more so Republicans that voted straight party. And I don't know if they realize that they're voting to defund public schools, because that's what they're voting for. I'm not sure if they know that they're voting for hate for the LGBTQIA2S plus community, because that's what they voted for. I don't know if they know that they're voting for cronyism and corruption, because they just voted for the R, but that's what they voted for. We need to take that away so that people will pay attention to the names and what the names stand for and vote for the names. And so I'm sending good vibes to Representative Trish Ranson out of Stillwater. And if you run into her, or if you just feel like sending her a note, thank her for considering this legislation. I think it will help our state. As I've been saying since the 8th, politics do not end in the November election. We start back over. We have elections coming up on February 14th. We have marijuana on the ballot in March. We have to start getting ready for 2024. Politics continue. Politics continue. I hope that you're paying attention. I hope that you're getting together with folks so that you'll be better prepared for what's happening in February, better prepared for 2024, because that's what we need to be doing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. And I'll be back here tomorrow, hopefully in a better mood with better news. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15. You guys have a great evening.